Hello and welcome to the Outside View preview powered by Fantasy Akhada. And as we all know that India and Sri Lanka are all set to lock horns with each other for 3 T20Is starting from 23rd of June and followed by 3 ODIs which are scheduled to start from 1st of July. So to review the series, the Sri Lanka versus India series for us, I have with me our experts Annesha, Ghosh and Thirushkamini. Welcome both of you.
Thank you very much, Ashwini. And good to be joining somebody as known and somebody who served the women's game for so long, Thirushkamini. Good to see you, Thirush, and thanks for having me here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you.
Thank you for the warm welcome, and it's good to be part of this panel. And also, I've worked with Annesha in the past, so it's good to be on board with her.
Definitely. So let's just dive straight into our topic. Let's begin with our first segment, and that's going to be the big picture. So I'll come to you, Annesha, first. Of course, Sri Lanka are going to play cricket against India now. There's been a gap that they didn't play cricket much before, but now we are seeing them playing regular cricket, and that should be a great positive for the side, considering the start of the new cycle, the ICC Championship cycle.
Absolutely. More so given they went more than a year without playing any international cricket following the 2020 T20 World Cup in Australia. It did not do them any good. They also missed out on qualification for the 2022 ODI World Cup, and it was a bit of a deflating incident for the Sri Lanka women's team to have gone through, more so knowing that their men's team had been playing consistent cricket domestically and internationally. The India series comes at a good time because we know that the Commonwealth Games are around the corner. Their tour of Pakistan did not go quite well. They were clean swept in the T20I series and lost the ODIs 2-1. There are a few creases that they need to iron out in this particular series because this is, as you rightly mentioned, their inaugural series in the new ICC Women's Championship. And as we saw in the Pakistan series, especially in the ODIs, they went down to Pakistan by a huge margin. So that's one area I am looking forward to seeing the Sri Lanka team make amends, especially in considering the Indian side are going to put up a tough fight for them because this is a well-rounded Indian team. They are going through a transition themselves, but they are going to be formidable competition. And for Chamari Athapathu's side, should they harbor any hopes of not just putting up a good fight, but also maybe one-upping a team like India, they will have to make sure that their batting lineup comes to the fore, led by none other than Chamari Athapathu themselves, but making sure that even if they do go down maybe 2-1 in the series, I don't see the ODI series being clean swept by India, to be honest, but even if they are to go down, they should make sure they do not do so by huge margins, as was the case in the Pakistan series.
Right, and the spirits would be high because they are playing at their home conditions and they would want to dominate the proceedings, of course. Speaking of India, Thirush, we're going to see a new era of Indian cricket under Harmanpreet Kaur now. Now that Mithali Raj was the biggest one who actually served Indian cricket for the longest of time, leaves behind a great legacy. But now the captaincy of India's ODIs as well as T20Is is with Harmanpreet Kaur, and the team is going to enter a new fresh start.
Definitely very excited about the series, and like rightly mentioned by Annesha, it's a very important series for India, backing as much as points in terms of the ICC Championship, because it's important that you are always, when you see comparatively a slightly weaker side, you really want to get your points as much as possible. I mean, getting a clean sweep would be very crucial for India in terms of the points. But getting back to the combinations, and also talking about Harmanpreet's captaincy, I think we did see her captain for the T20 format for quite some time. Definitely there is going to be a shift in terms of a different format, but we've seen the kind of brilliance that she's brought onto the field. Like we recently concluded the Women's T20 Challenge. We did see some spectacular performance for her, and she was extremely commendable on the field, and she's understood the team. And there is definitely going to be a huge responsibility in terms of the players as well, because just not in terms of captaincy, but also the dent that would have been created by the starred walls of the Indian women's cricket, like just not Mithali, but also Julandi, in terms of pioneering the bowling for a really long time. So I think with both the departments, be it the batting and the bowling, I think there is going to be a lot of expectations from the youngsters to see who's going to step up and take up the responsibility and perform, because that is something a lot of people are going to compare, irrespective of them retired. The comparison is always going to be, at least for some time, to Mithalidi and Jalandi. So I'm really excited to see how the girls are going to step up and perform this year.
Definitely, we are all excited, and as you rightly mentioned, that there would be a few players on whom a lot of hopes will be pinned, and that brings us to our next segment, the players to watch out for in this series. So with this, Annesha, firstly, one thing that strikes my mind is Jemimah Rodrigues come back into the Indian setup. We were waiting for this since long.
Certainly. And while the comeback has been welcome, she's been included only in the T20I squad. So we've got to bear that in mind, that Jemimah Rodrigues continues to be omitted from the ODI side, which wasn't the best of moves on the part of the think tank, the management selection committee, from my point of view, because for a batter like Jemimah Rodrigues, you've got to back her. But one must also mention that she was given a bit of a long rope last year on the England tour, but there were repeated failures which did not strengthen her case and instead led to her omission from the ODI side. We saw Jemimah perform the way she did in the Women's T20 Challenge. There was a certain degree of responsibility she was able to take and show when it mattered to her team. Although her team, the Trailblazers led by Smriti Mandhana, did not make the final, I was pretty impressed by the fact that Jemimah ensured that she made the most of the opportunity. She had squandered the opportunity in one of the earlier games when the batting, there was a major batting collapse. She did not get any partners to stick around her for her to play the anchor role. But even then, it was a good catch by Harleen Deol in the deep that caused her undoing more than Jemimah Rodrigues, causing her own downfall, so to speak. I'm looking forward to seeing how well Jemimah makes use of the opportunity she's likely to get in the T20I lineup, because there's stiff competition, mind you. There is the likes of Yastika Bhatia, Harleen Deol, Shefali Verma has already established herself in the opening position, but there is enough competition for her to be cognizant of the fact that she has to perform. And with the Commonwealth Games around the corner, the Indian team needs her as much as she needs the opportunities in the Indian squad for the long-term welfare of the side. And with Harmanpreet as captain and Smriti Mandhana as vice-captain, I'm pretty sure these seniors are going to take care of the fact that Jemimah Rodrigues is given the confidence through more match time, more game time, despite any potential failures, which you wouldn't want for a player or for any player for that matter, but somebody so young and promising as Jemimah Rodrigues. So I'm looking forward to Jemimah making the most of this opportunity, and hope this proves to be a good one, not just for her, but also for India.
I'm sure we all are looking forward to see those runs coming in from Jemimah Rodrigues and all of the other players as well. But then speaking of Sri Lanka there, Thirush, we saw that in the series against Pakistan, the T20I series, though Sri Lanka lost it, but Oshadi Ranasinghe was one of the players who performed well there. She was the highest wicket taker in that series as well. So who are the players from the Sri Lankan setup you're looking forward to who are going to probably shine in the series? Of course, we have the skipper Chamari Attapattu also, who's always there smashing the bowlers all around the park.
Definitely there's going to be with a series like a formidable and commendable series against India. I think the player to look out for undoubtedly, and the responsibility would be on the captain Chamari Attapattu, because she has a very huge responsibility to play, just not in terms of leading the side, but also ensuring that they're able to put up a good fight. And like Annesha mentioned earlier, probably even a one win against India will definitely help them boost their confidence, because they didn't have a very comfortable series in terms of the Pakistan series, which recently got concluded. But talking about the players to look out for, I think Usha is definitely the pick of the players that I would look forward to, simply because India has always been a team which involves a lot of left-right combination in terms of their batting strategies. And we've seen that just not in one format, but in multiple formats, they have inculcated the batting order in terms of having a left-hander always at the crease. So probably an off-spinning option will definitely, with her having a good series in the Pakistan against Pakistan, I think she will definitely be the players to look forward in the upcoming tournament.
Definitely, that was a great point, and that brings us to our final segment, my favorite, getting the predictions from our experts. So coming to you, Annesha, first, what do you think is going to be the math in the ODI series and the T20I series? Who's dominating the proceedings?
I think Chamari Athapattu is going to carry the aggression from the match where she scored that 100 against Pakistan into the T20I series. She's going to whack the ball all around the park in Dambola in the T20I leg of the tour. I expect India to edge past them in the T20I leg of the tour by 2-1. The ODIs could be a much closely contested affair, though I do think that even then India are going to win it by a 2-1 margin. Clean sweep, is it on the cards for either series? I don't think so, because the Sri Lankans will want to make an emphatic statement given their performance on the Pakistan tour, and knowing Chamari Athapattu, the kind of person she is, the kind of character she is, she must be seething, not just with her own performance. She had a lean patch in the earlier phase of the Pakistan tour before she scored that 25 odd runs in one of those games and followed by the 100. So she must be seething as a captain as well. She must be kicking herself for not being able to take her team over the line. So Chamari Athapattu is going to come all guns blazing, and hopefully she'll be able to get those wins for her team, at least one in each series.
Definitely. There's the prediction from Annesha. Thirush, what are your views?
Probably the bit of maybe for the T20s, I might expect a consolation win for Sri Lanka. But when it comes to the ODIs, I think India are going to have an exceptional series, irrespective of trying to reconstruct the whole team. I think it looks like they might be having a complete whitewash in terms of the ODI format. But T20 being a game that is completely dependent on that particular day, probably I would give that one edge over a consolation win for Sri Lanka. That would be my predictions for the upcoming series.
Well, all in all, I'm sure that we're going to get some exciting contests coming in from there. I've got the predictions from our experts. So this is all from the preview of the series. But make sure that you also tune in to the live shows. Our panelists, our experts will join us for the live shows, the pre, mid and post shows during the series. So make sure that you tune in. And until then, for all the updates on women's cricket, stay tuned to Women's Cricket Zone.